Have you ever felt the pressure of trying to keep up, trying to compete, to be louder, faster, and on every platform at the same time, all at once? What if beating your competition had nothing to do with you working harder and everything to do with you being more you? Well, welcome back to the Mind Your Business Mentor podcast. I am Stephanie, your host and your mentor. And I started this podcast for the brave individual who started their own business by themselves, for themselves, because they had a dream. But now they are struggling to try to figure out how to live a life, a balanced life somewhere in between. And I know that struggle. That struggle usually centers around three things: clarity, time, and money. And today we are going to touch on all three because we are talking about how to stop competing with everyone else and finally stepping into your lane. If you've ever felt like you were drowning in a sea of people that were doing the same exact thing as you, this episode is something that you need to watch. Like you serial entrepreneurs out there, I have started several business ventures. Let's name them off in chronological order to the best of my ability. Well, there was the candy store from my bedroom. Then there was the book covers. I used to create book covers and locker posters when I was in school. Then I also braided hair from home, and I had 3 bubblegum machines in my living room for them to spend money while I was braiding their hair. That was my laundromat money. And then there was real estate. I did tax notes, wholesale, and fix and flips. Wholesales were my favorite. MLMs, Amway, Legal Shield, 7K Metals, and more. And then I got into internet marketing as a blogger. I've been a retail vendor at the flea market and e-commerce with Amazon and eBay. And then I started gig working and doing courier services. I got into affiliate marketing and being a licensed vendor selling SaaS platforms, services, tools, and resources. Then I got my life coaching certification to become life coach for entrepreneurs. And they all had one thing in common: competition. Hundreds, if not thousands of people doing the exact same thing that I was doing. And how do you compete? So let me tell you this story. Perfect example. Let's use internet marketing out of that long list of things, right? With internet marketing, I got involved in a company that just turned my entrepreneur fire to another level. I was just like, I was so excited. And I hadn't felt that excited about entrepreneurship in a while. Ever since I had stopped doing real estate, I wasn't really, feeling it. I was more feeling corporate and executive, administrative assistant and that kind of stuff, right? But I got turned on to this, and it was mainly through blogging. It was a company called Empower Network. And they were talking about how using SEO and blogging could make you a lot of money because you're effortlessly talking about the things that you love or things that you're an expert on or whatnot. And granted, all these different people could have been talking about different subject matters. But nonetheless, we were all still following the same formula, and if we were trying to sell the platform, the blogging platform that we were talking about, we were definitely pushing along the same lines. Now, I'm using this one as an example because I felt a lot of competition when I was involved in this venture. A lot. I felt competition in all the MLMs. They're all selling the same products. You're following the same process. You're following the same procedures and policies. Even let's take that into another realm. Like say if we were doing insurance, you work for insurance, because I did Primerica too. We're all saying the same thing. So that's the point that I'm trying to get at. When you're in a certain field, certain industry, you're selling the same things. There's standards, there's processes, there's procedures, right? So how do you compete? Step 1, Clarify your brand. See, being a part of Empower Network showed me that following someone else's scripts make you blend in and not stand out. Your brand is more than just your colors and your logos and fonts. It's your voice. It's your vibe. It's your reason why. And once I leaned into the MYB lifestyle, I stopped competing and I started attracting. We'll get more into that in a minute. Step 2, know your audience. When you're trying to talk to everyone, you're talking to no one. I spent years speaking generally, thinking that I could help everybody, but help them with what? That was the other point. What are you helping them with? Once I got clear about who I was talking to and what problem I was solving and how I was going to solve it, then I was good to go. This centers around your XYZ statement, right? I do X for Y by Z or with Z, right? Or your solution statement. There's a specific problem overall. There's a specific problem that you are trying to solve, that your business represents a solution for. Who is the person that needs that solution? And what is it that you're doing in your business to actually solve the problem? When you can answer each one of those questions without fail and you're crystal clear on it, that sets you apart because now your efforts are targeted. Step 3, lead with authenticity. In every business, I did better when I showed up as myself. People connect to the truth, not the polished, not the perfection, just you. Once I dropped the act and I leaned into the real conversations, people paid attention. I love talking to people, and sometimes I talk too much. I know I do. And I'm controlling that. But I'm trying not to control it too much because then I take away my essence. I take away what makes Stephanie, Stephanie. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. And that's okay because there's not enough of me to be everybody's cup of tea. I just need the people that truly resonate with what I talk about. The people that truly get me, the people that feel my vibe and they hear where I'm coming from. Committed people that are actually listening and following directions, because I know the mentors that I listen to, the people that I take time out to listen to, I'm listening, right? Which takes us into step 4. Step 4, listen more than you speak. Feedback is free strategy. And this is something that I learned from Empower Network. There is no failure, only feedback. And I'm just now remembering that lesson. If I had kept that in the front of my mind or put it on the wall like I do a lot of other things to keep me to remember what it is that my focus is, alignments, focus. I had taken a public speaking class and listening was like 45% of the class. If I had remembered that months, maybe even years ago, I could have saved myself a whole lot of time and a whole lot of negative self-talk, right? But I'm learning, as it is in coaching and running a community, I'm learning how powerful it is to listen. Your audience will tell you what they want if you're listening for more than just likes. They'll tell you what they need so that you can figure out how to serve them. And this is a lesson that I am definitely still learning. Actually, they all are. I'm a work in progress. And this last step, step 5, is a game changer. It gave me so much motivation and excitement. And step 5, build in collaboration. Collaboration became my secret weapon. See, when I first came up with the MYB lifestyle concept, it was a lot of work because I started off with 12 categories. I started off with 12 life categories. Okay, so I learned about the wheel of life. from one of my mentors. And I was like, that's pretty tight. And he described the wheel of life as like a pie chart. And if you look at my logo, that's where that comes from, right? You see the wheel of life like a pie chart, and each slice represented a different category in your life. The center of that pie chart would be 0. And the outer rim of the pie chart would be a 10. So on a scale from 1 to 10, how would you rate this part of your life? And if you look at the wheel when you get done rating it and it looks like a jagged, it looks like a hot mess, how well can you roll through life? How smoothly would you roll through life if they're not all equal? Then that comes to that like whole balance thing and all of that. And I'm not going to get into that with y'all today. Okay, as far as balance versus alignment, because I'm normally alignment side of things, but I used to be a balance fan, and it's the definition of balance that makes it true or not true. Because balance doesn't mean giving everything the equal time. Balance means giving those things the time that it needs for you to be satisfied with that part of your life. So if that's the case, then it's not equal time. It's the appropriate time. It's the effective time. It's the impactful time. And that could be an hour, 2 hours, 2 days, a week, 3 weeks, 10 minutes. It doesn't matter, because it's up to you. What part of your life are you working on? What are you doing to work on that part of your life? And how long would it take for you to be doing that on a consistent basis, for you to be happy with your personal growth, for you to be happy with your financial situation, for you to be happy with the relationships that you're building, so on and so forth, right? But when I first came up with that concept, I had to be the expert in all 12 categories. That's a lot of work. That is more work than I care to even describe. I think you get it. Especially, hey, you're running your business. You tell me. Does that sound like a lot of work? Of course it does. But instead of trying to be good at every single life category, I just said, let me partner with people that are good in in that category. I didn't have to be the expert. I didn't have to do all of that. And I could create an ecosystem instead of a hustle. Okay, let's start talking about how we can compete in a different way. Don't worry, I got you. I have an ebook for you. And in that ebook, we'll address all 5 steps that I mentioned. The first step, brand clarity. There's a worksheet. Define your voice, your vibe, and your message. It includes 3 guiding questions. What do I stand for? What do I solve? And what do I want to be remembered for? The second one would be the audience avatar creator. Use this simple fill in the blank template to define your ideal audience, their needs, their pain points, and their language. It includes your XYZ statement builder as well. Number 3, the authenticity audit checklist, a self-check guide for your content, offers, and customer experience. Are you ready to show up as you? Number 4, we're going to listen by doing the feedback loop builder. Questions to ask your audience, your customers, or your community to collect meaningful insights, plus 3 ways to turn your feedback into action. Number 5, collaboration starter kit, a worksheet to identify your gaps and potential collaboration opportunities. And it'll also include a 3-step prompt to approach partners with confidence. You don't have to beat your competition. You just have to compete against the temptation to be like everybody else in your field. Beating your competition has nothing to do with you playing their game and has everything to do with you staying in your lane. Building your business, building your brand, building and creating connections that money cannot buy. It's your voice. It's your brand. It's your community. That's what sets you apart. Well, I'd like to extend an invitation. If you're someone who has a business aligned with one of the 6 MYB Life categories, that's right, 6, not 12. We reduced it. The first category would be personal growth. And personal growth consists of several things. It's one category, but it consists of physical health, spiritual, mental and emotional, your intellect, and your identity or character. And then the second category would be relationships that are personal or professional. And then the third category is financial. That's a lot to unpack there, right? There's a lot of financial. There's budgeting, there's financial products, there's fintech, there's investing, wealth building, you name it, right? And then there's business, formulation of business. Although we've got all of this stuff in the community, compliments of some of my partners, right? We've got business formulation, SOPs, building your digital hub. And we'll get into that. Not a website, not a funnel, not a blog, it's all in one. It's a hub, right? That would fall under business. Business clarity, what we're talking about right now, this podcast, you know what I'm saying? Anything to help someone build their business. And then the number 5 would be the quality of life. Quality of life is your environment and your experiences. So if you sell stuff like candles and what's that called? Feng shui. The feng shui. If you got, you've smelled fragrances, beautiful paintings. My daughter's a artist, so I got to partner with my daughter to do that for us, right? Anything to make someone's life better, because that's what an MYB lifestyle is. It's a life that you're building that you love and a business that will facilitate that, right? You're an entrepreneur. Make it work for you. So the quality of life is your experience and your environment. And then contribution. Do you have a nonprofit organization that we can partner with? Are you doing something impactful in our communities, making a difference on our life on a one-on-one basis, one family, one person, one conversation at a time? Let's join forces, expand our visions and our businesses together. Join the community and message me inside the MYB community to learn more about collaborating. Now, next week, we'll be diving into the power of clarity in your life, your brand, and your business, because confusion will kill your cash flow. Remember, you do not have to compete with others, compare yourself to others, or covet what the next man appears to have. This is your race. This is your world. This is your life. And the blessings that are intended for you, you will receive. So you better get ready, stay clear, stay aligned, and continue to mind your business.